Tired of feeling stuck in a cycle of unhealthy habits? Best to try and understand the key steps to break free and transform your life with practical strategies and insights. The doctor is in. Let's begin. Alright, we have Breaking Bad, how to break up with your bad habits. Understand triggers that drive bad habits and break free of the habit loop. Alright, well, let's start off. Habits are things we do almost without thinking, almost instinctively. They're developed over time through a repetition and positive reinforcement. In general, habits can be simple, like brushing our teeth or checking our phones every time we wake up in the morning, or they can be just a little bit more complex, like exercising regularly or when you're always late for class. And like anything else in life, habits can be both good and bad depending on the situation. Good habits contribute to our growth and our overall joy, whereas bad habits, they have a negative consequence that can often hinder our growth, harming our physical, mental, or emotional health. And it's these bad habits that can vary widely from an unhealthy lifestyle choice like smoking or overeating to behaviors like procrastination or negative self-talk. Fortunately, there are some strategies here in this article that can help us break these bad habits. In fact, the article does a very nice job explaining why it's so darn hard to break these bad habits. Right here, actually. What makes habits so hard to break? Well, habits are, by definition, automatic behaviors. What makes our habits so hard to break is that we engage in them, for the most part, with little or no thought. Rarely do we stop to examine, challenge, or reflect on how problematic habits may be impacting our lives. It would seem that the first step to breaking free of the bad habits is to acquire a sense of self-awareness of our habits. Moving on, we have cue, routine, reward, the habit loop. Basically the map, the guideline on what makes a habit. Explained right here. In his 2016 New York Times article, How to Form Healthy Habits in Your 20s, Charles Duhigg, author of The Power of Habit, describes the neurological habit loop as a three-part process consisting of a cue, a routine, and a reward. Our automatic routines or habits kick in as the result of a cue. We carry out a habit or routine without much thought, and our actions result in a reward. Basically, there's a trigger to the habit that results in a behavior, and that leads to a reward, which reinforces the habit, creating the loop. It's kind of like a puzzle. Once you recognize the pattern to it all, you can alter the routine and find an alternative reward, thus creating a healthier, better loop. Moving on, we were just now starting to get into the breaking the habit loop. This is a little good section where it just describes the powerful three-part mindfulness-based approach to breaking bad habits. Usually this is it's about being mindfulness, examining the quality of the reward, and then basically determining if it's a good reward or a bad reward, and then further discuss, replacing the negative behavior and the reward with something that's more positive or healthy. Next section, self-awareness and self-compassion. These things are actually pretty important. So, as we strive to manage or eliminate bad habits, we need to remain both present in the moment and compassionate with ourselves. We need to allow ourselves time and patience as we work to eliminate entrenched habits and patterns. We need to banish an all-or-nothing mindset that can derail months of progress when we slip up or veer off track. I kind of like that because, really, the point is, don't get upset if you don't break the habit right away. Don't get upset if you mess up along the way. I mean, it usually takes about 3 to 4 weeks to start seeing any habitual changes. It does get easier every day afterwards. So, who knows? Maybe during that time, you might even develop a new healthy habit, like good posture. Just keep thinking, stand up straight, you will see tremendous results. Trust me. And now that we have some gained insight into habits, let's move on into the meat and potatoes, the 6 strategies that'll help us break those nasty habits. Step 1. Build awareness around what you want to change. Awareness is always the first step to make meaningful change. Admitting to yourself that you repeatedly overworked, turn to alcohol or drugs, or distract yourself with online shopping, comfort food, or binge watching TV to numb or avoid uncomfortable feelings, situations, or setting the stages for deciding to do better for yourself. Really, this is just again talking about awareness and mindfulness. Because it's important, it must be said repeatedly. Step 2. Decide to change. Make a promise to yourself to eliminate a bad habit or pattern behavior with a negative consequence. Remember, a bad habit typically involves negative consequences. These are consequences that negatively impact your life in some way. Words mean nothing if you do not take action. Step 3. Get to know what triggers the habits you wish to eliminate. Identify the situation and settings that cue behaviors and provide the reward, such as numbing uncomfortable feelings that you wish to eliminate from your life. And we all have those kinds of feelings. Step 4. Address those triggers and cues. If you need help managing overwhelming trauma, low mood, anxiety, or stress, seek the help of a professional. Well, yeah, don't be afraid to ask for help. That's what I take away from it. Step number 5. Bring in compassion for yourself as you strive to make changes and seek helps and support when you need it. Give yourself time to break entrenched habits and patterns. Pretty good. Final step, number 6. Replace habits and patterns that no longer serve you with positive, enjoyable, or healthy interests and pursuits. So, yeah, starting a new activity or hobby, like building Legos, models, playing basketball, exercising, or playing pickleball, can help you shift that focus of a bad habit and break the loop. So overall, with these steps, it's been pretty straightforward. I like it. All right, so in conclusion, breaking bad habits, it's not an easy task. Fortunately, when armed with knowledge and practical strategies, it becomes achievable. I liked that in this article we've explored the habit loop, how the cues, routines, and rewards shape our overall behavior. After all, humans do most things for reward, and most of the time, that's getting a sense of comfort. A reward is not always a thing, object. Sometimes the reward can be a good or peaceful feeling you get after doing a thing. Also, when it comes to those 6 strategies, they were pretty good. They were a pretty good outline for effectively disrupting the habit loop. Though, after reading them, I definitely got a sense that these strategies are similar to the steps needed to break an addiction. And to be clear, there is an actual difference between a bad habit and an addiction. An addiction is way worse. That's a complete loss of control because it's such an intense craving. Though, regardless if it is a bad habit or an addiction, I do agree that the first step to getting better and breaking such bad behavior is to admit that you have a problem. It's about being self-aware, and in my opinion, it's also about taking accountability to correct the bad habits. Of course, I do have other tips I want to share that I hope will make breaking the bad habits easier for everyone. And these are setting clear goals, as I think those will provide clarity and motivation for breaking bad habits. There's also building a support system through your friends, family, or designated support groups, because that will provide encouragement and accountability while you're on your habit-breaking journey. An example of such a support would be having a gym coach or a study buddy. There's also celebrating your progress. You should be acknowledging and celebrating your small victories, as that can reinforce positive changes and encourage you to continue your efforts in breaking the bad habits. Ultimately, the key to breaking bad habits lies within someone's commitment to self-awareness, discipline, and perseverance. By taking proactive steps and embracing the support of others, anyone can overcome their bad habits and cultivate a healthier, more fulfilling lifestyle. Of course, those are my thoughts on it. Tell me what you think. If you enjoyed listening and want to hear or see more content like this, please like and subscribe. Follow me on X. Thank you again.